everybody. How are y'all doing today? I am doing well. So today is Friday, and it was my official last day as a government employee. I turned in all my paperwork that was signed by whoever needed to sign it. Um, so that's it. Like I'm done with government for now. For now. So it was back in September. You guys can go back and watch that video if you haven't seen it, where I came on here and I announced that I was going to quit my job. Okay. Because I knew that it was time. It was just time to go. Now, why would I do that? I had a really great gig, and I've had it for about 16 years. I was making six figures, insurance, retirement. Um, this one right here that I quit was remote, working from home, and it almost doesn't get any better than that. Okay. Almost doesn't get. So why in the hell would somebody do something like that? Okay. Uh and you kind of have to be there, So now I attempted to quit a year ago, and I was pulled back in for some work, and I said I'd give it a year to see if that was going to work, and it just didn't. So it's hard to explain. Okay, it's really hard to explain. Just imagine being in growing up in actually, let me tell you this was an example somebody gave me. You are in the house with your parents, and they warn you, do not open the basement door. Okay. Almost every night before you go to bed, they remind you, do not open the basement door. Okay. So you grow up, you have breakfast, you do what you do during the day and all that. The parents, before you go to bed, always do not open the basement door. Okay. One day you decide to open the door. I'm going to open it. I know mom and dad, the people who love me, the authority figures, everyone has told me not to open the door, but I'm going to open it. So you go to the basement door and you open it, and you see a blue sky. You see birds flying. You see green grass. You feel fresh wind on your face. The whole time you are actually living in the basement. The whole time you're in the basement. I got an opportunity to not do what everybody was telling me to do. In some way, shape, or form, I was being told not to open the basement door. One day I decided, okay, I'm going to open it anyway. And I did. And since that day, a lot of things have changed for me, including the way I see work. I'm no longer satisfied with just getting a paycheck and we think money is everything. Without money you can't live, you can't survive, you can't do that. The parents are telling you money is everything. Okay, you have to have it, you cannot live without it. You have to save for the kids, you have to create a pension for whatever the hell. Okay, the authority figures are telling us that. Okay, and we see people doing it. Okay, so we feel, okay, that must be, nobody's opening the basement, there must be something wrong. Okay, opening the basement door, right? So I just chose, to do my own thing and find out for myself, is this really true? I don't mean to get all philosophical and stuff, but it has to go that way, a little bit, for really to understand what would compel me to say I don't want to do this job anymore. And with that, I lose that very good six-figure salary and a lot of all the so-called, what do they call it? Security you have when you work for the government, supposedly. But I did. I did. And I did it without having anything lined up. I have no idea what I'm going to do next. I really don't know. I'm doing some volunteer work right now. I have a teeny tiny contract, that I'm enjoying doing, but it's not enough to really, take the place of what I've just released. All right. I have to say, while there is fear, because I do have kids and obligations and all that stuff, there's also a lot of excitement. I am so eager to see what's going to happen next. I really am. I'm very eager to see what's going to happen. I'm in an enormous space of uncertainty. Okay. Where I was before, my flag was in the ground. I knew the direction I was pointing into. I knew what was next. I knew when it was going to come next. All of that stuff. Now, there's absolutely nothing but open space. I don't know what direction I'm looking into. I don't know what I'm looking into. None of that. I have no idea about any of that. So let me show you why. Let me show you why I gave up that six-figure salary. This is actually something that I talked about at the Training Officers Consortium conference last year. It was last year. And let me pull this up. I don't even see it here. Where is it? Hold on, y'all. Let's see if I put it over here. If it will show up. I want to show you a little bit about what I presented at that conference, okay? Because this really explains why I did what I did, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Make it bigger. All right. So I'm not going to show you all this. I just want to look at the title: A Fresh New Landscape of Training Program Design and Evaluation. Welcome to the future. You are here. I really mean that. Like, I meant that, okay? Because I feel like I am in a totally different place when it comes to learning, design, and evaluation. Totally different. I'm not where I was before. I'm just not, So when I announced I was going to be doing this conference, I was serious about this. When you come in this room and you hear what I'm about to tell you, you're going to be in a totally different place. So welcome. Okay. I really, really meant that. And I talked about, all the things that were a part of it. But let me show you, this is the process that got me to finally say, a six-figure salary is not enough to keep me, in the past. All right. This is the way that I explained it. Okay. That we are constantly trying to solve L&D problems, when what we need to do is stop trying to solve the problems and evolve those problems. Okay. If you have a phone on this end of the spectrum, okay, that's still working, this phone may have problems. And yes, you can solve those problems. But why in the world? Why would you choose to continue to solve problems of the Nokia 6210? Okay. Now, problems are going to be along this whole spectrum. Wouldn't you rather solve whatever problems you're going to have over here? You ain't going to have no Bluetooth problems over here. You're not going to have problems connecting to Netflix on this phone. Okay? If you're going to have problems anyway, why not have evolved problems? And what I talked about when I showed this was how I watch Real Housewives. These women are screaming and yelling and crying at, about who's going to plan the next trip to Bora Bora. That's their problem. They have a problem on the table. We're not sure who's going to plan the next trip to Bora Bora. Okay? That's an evolved problem. Okay? Wouldn't you want to be solving that problem? Okay, is all I'm trying to say here, right? So, and then I go on to talk about what the evolved problem is, knowledge failure, okay? And I've just written an article that was published in the Association for Enterprise Risk Management newsletter that I'm going to post here under this video about knowledge failure, right? And knowledge risk and what all that is, okay? I'm not going to go over it here, but I did do that. So this is the issue, right? And this is another thing. I didn't just wake up one morning and be like, okay, I have an idea. I have an idea. There was a lot of research that went into this, and there was a lot of theory behind these new ideas. Okay, and these are some of them that help support the various practices that I'm talking about, that I'm suggesting. Okay, that are here in the future. All right. And when it comes to learning, one of the very interesting ones, do I have it on here? I don't think I have it on here. It's theory of theory. It's called theory of theory. Okay. And that's that when babies are born, they're not blank slates. They're not. Okay. And everything we do is about testing theories that we already have. Okay. About the world. Very interesting. All of these are interesting. Theory of mind is something that I learned a lot about when I went through my hypnosis certification courses. Okay. I have new definitions. How the way we talk can change the way we work. Keegan and Leahy. Okay. I'm talking in a different way. When I say learning, it's not what you mean when you say it. When I say these words right here, it's not what you mean when you say it. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's almost like you have just been dropped into the 1700s with the knowledge that you have today in 2019. Imagine how that would feel. And in the 1700s, they don't have the technology that you have right now in 2019. But you know it's possible. But the thinking in the 1700s isn't even there. It's not even there. So as much as you talk, the mindset is not there because they're used to a certain thing. They cannot see those possibilities that you're talking about. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how it's been for me. And that's no slight against the people that I'm around. Okay. Like that doesn't mean they're less than or can't think or, that doesn't mean anything like that. Right. It just is what it is. I see something now that I hadn't seen before. The story I told about the basement is just like Plato's cave. Remember, if you go to YouTube, type in Plato's cave, okay, where you have the men who are chained. They're each chained to each other, and all they ever see are the shadows on the walls, and there's like a fire behind them. So there's a walkway behind them where people are walking, but they don't see the people. All they see is the shadows of the people in front of them. And shadows are distorted, and they move weird, and they only show up certain times of the day, and so one of the men was able to break free and go outside and say, hey, these shadows, like, that's not really what the world is about. There's sunshine and this, and they're actual people, and they are colorful. But the people who were still there, seeing the shadows change, they didn't want to hear that. So in one of the stories, they ended up killing him. The guy who was saying, there's more than this. This is not all there is. Okay. So I had been in that position, and when I was first able to see, more clearly, let me say it that way. And it's done nothing but just blossom over every area of my life, including work. And that's what's going on. So I'm seeing things differently, I'm defining them differently, I'm talking about it differently. And now what I'm looking for is my tribe, is people who are, even if they don't talk the same language, who are willing to hear. Listen, there's sunshine out there. We don't have to keep doing things the same way we're doing them. We can do something different. These are some other definitions we don't even use in L&D right now. I mean, words we don't even use. We don't use absorptive capacity in L&D. We don't say that at all. We don't talk about return on knowledge. We don't talk about knowledge risk and knowledge risk assessment. We don't talk about any of that. And even what I'm talking about, and this is what I try to explain in the federal space, we even have regulations and laws that support the newness that I'm talking about. And this is some of them right here that I've listed. One of the things that I say, and I have it right here up on my wall, and Seth Godin talked a little bit about it too. Fundamentally, human beings want very few things fundamentally, okay? I mean, aside from the physiological stuff that you absolutely need, like food and water and all that, right? One of those things is to be heard. Just to be heard. And that's where equity comes in too. That's where equity comes in. We talk about diversity and inclusion, but we need to be talking about diversity and equity, okay? When you are able to hear what somebody is saying, despite their GS level, despite the amount of melanin in their skin, despite their, whether they're male or female, or despite whatever their height is, whatever their background is, what kind of degree they have, whatever, when you are really able to hear a person, that's fundamental. That's true equity. And I feel like one of the main problems with why I had to leave my 6-figure job was because I was not being heard. For one of more of those reasons that I listed, because my GS level wasn't high enough. I wasn't an SES, because I have too much melanin in my skin. I don't have an Adam's apple or bass in my voice. I'm not a man. Okay. I really do feel like some of those were the reasons why what I'm saying here did not go any further than it went. I really do believe that. And I don't believe it just because I believe it. I feel like I have evidence that that's what the case is. Okay. So this is why I left. I talk about all these things, mapping them to the project management life cycle. I talk about what the past looks like, and what this future that I'm talking about can look like for government. I wanted to do this work in the federal government. Okay, that's where I wanted this work to come out of. I didn't want people, because right now what we do, a lot of times we go outside and we bring in thought leaders and contractors and, all of these people who wrote books and did all that stuff. We bring them in, so they can give us their knowledge for a change. Okay, in L&D, I wanted us to be the ones okay, where people were calling for us, to come, us being the federal space, to come out and talk about this innovation, this new learning landscape. That's what I wanted. I didn't want to go out, you know, so that now, they have to keep pulling these gurus and stuff from outside to come in and talk to us about L&D. One of the things with knowledge failure, which is huge, huge in government, and I'm talking about in government because that's where I was, okay, is the inability to use the knowledge you have right in front of your face. Underutilizing the knowledge that you have right around you. That's an enormous problem. And again, I feel like it's back to the way you look, your rank, your education level, or whatever, all of that stuff. I really feel like that's what it is. Underutilizing what's right there. Right there. Why are you calling in contractors to do this stuff? The talent is here. The government does a terrible job of using the talent that's right there. The future of HR. So this is, I didn't even make this. Somebody, who was it? Jacob Morgan, Inc.com. What does future of human resources look like? The future of HR creates experiences, coaches thought leaders, destroys the status quo, shapes and leads strategy. It's profit enabling. It's profit enabling. Unlocks human potential, and one size breaks all. This is a very good, and it compares and contrasts the past. Well, it contrasts the past from the future. Okay. I mean, I couldn't stay for another 24 hours. I just couldn't, you know. And I get that, you shouldn't leave your job before you have another one. I get that. I'm a very intelligent person. I get all that. Okay. But what I'm also learning is to trust myself. That's what I'm learning. Even when this was the very first lesson I learned before I even went into this stuff right here. When I was that day when when I really was able to see things clearly. The first thing I saw that I had to continue to learn was that I have to trust myself. I have to do that because there's so many things around me, so many voices, so many thoughts of my own that give me 11 reasons why I should not trust myself, that I should trust somebody else or trust something else. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. But I have learned that that's not true. Okay? I have learned to put more trust in myself and to be okay with that. That can't be an anomaly that I trust myself. Okay? I mean, it has to be a day-to-day thing. So I see that that's something, first of all, that's something I can do. I can absolutely trust myself. I can do that. And because I can, I will, and I am. And that's why I left my six-figure job, because I trust myself. I do. And don't think I didn't think about it and, looked at all the pros and the cons. And I did all that stuff, all of it, all of it. Okay. For months, I did all of it. And I did talk to some people, but at the end of the day, just with everything, I had to make my own decision. I had to put all that stuff together and I had to finally make my own decision, which is what I did. And it has me here. Wherever here is, it has me here. And I'll see, you know, what's here. Like, what is here? Or where I am right now, you know? And that's something I'm going to have to discover. Yeah. It's a learning experience. It really is, you know? And I look forward to the developmental errors that I will continuously learn from. I do. I look forward to that, you know? And yeah, that's it. That's why I left my six-figure job. Karen, you can't connect? Can you hear me? I don't know why you wouldn't be able to connect. Can you hear me at least? Okay. Well, I'm about to get off anyway because I've already been on for almost 30 minutes. So, yeah. All right. So that's all I wanted to say. And, I'm going to keep coming on here talking about learning stuff, which is what I like to talk about. There's a new group that I just discovered that I want to share with you all. Had not heard of it before. And one of the things I said I'm really enjoying, after quitting my job is all these people that I'm meeting, and all these conversations that I'm having that I would not have had I stayed there, you know, the connections that I'm making as a result of leaving, have been phenomenal. I mean, they've been amazing. I've listen, the people that I've met and talked to in the last month and a half, I can't even tell you, how valuable that's been. And I said that where I've been getting, the fuel that's been keeping me going for this last year that I've been in this, in my 9 to 5 job is the volunteer work that I do for nothing. Okay. That's been giving me, that's been sustaining me because that's meaningful work. I love doing it. Okay. And I think that's why I've been able to last as long as I have with my job because of the free stuff I've been doing. Okay. All right, y'all. I look forward to seeing what happens. I look forward to looking back on this video a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, and just reflecting, just reflecting on what I found here in this new place. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night.